I know the answer to this question, but I'll begin asking it to kick things off. Will Tennessee beat Alabama tomorrow at Neyland Stadium?
Yes, it will. There will be a winner in the orange and white. And I wish it was the Smoky Grays, but yeah, Tennessee is going to get the job done. I think they dictate tempo. I think they dictate the style of the game, and whether it's Jalen Milroe or a Bryce Young, who I don't think will be 100% if he plays, I think Tennessee gets the job done.
If that happens, what does that mean? Tennessee would be 6-0. I know the national attention is already there. It would only grow with that. So what would that mean for Tennessee football, for the Vols to get the win tomorrow and snap this losing streak that's longer than Tennessee fans probably could have imagined when it started?
Longer than some of them have been alive.
That's true.
I think it puts them squarely in the college football playoff race. I think it would launch them into the top 2 or top 3. I think from a recruiting standpoint, you couldn't ask for a better situation. So if Tennessee's able to get the win, not only short term, the playoff and everything, but long term, impressing recruits, going to, showing that they're a program on the rise, all of that stuff is good for the program. So I think it's in terms of sustained success and big moments in program history. This is probably the biggest moment in program history in the last decade and a half.
Do we see Bryce Young? What are you hearing so far about Bryce Young's availability?
Well, nothing. They're keeping it as close to under wraps as possible. Obviously, Nick didn't say anything at his Hey Coach show last night, so there's nothing to sort of glean from that. But my gut feeling is that he's going to be healthy enough to play, but not 100%. And that's still bad news. I mean, it's a shoulder, right? So if Alabama has to throw to keep up in a game, you don't know how long that shoulder is going to last. It's still going to hurt, right? So to me, I think he'll play. I don't think he'll be 100%, and ultimately that's going to be a big factor in why I picked Tennessee, just because if he's not 100%, that's it's dangerous. That could lead to some empty drives, and empty drives get you killed against Tennessee.
People are talking about just this game for Bryce Young, and I'm thinking about, his future beyond this game. I mean, Alabama can lose this game and still go win a national championship, but if Bryce hurts it further and be out for the season, then Alabama's goals are truly, truly in danger of winning a national championships.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that's part of the thought process, too, for Nick Saban, right? Obviously, he wants to keep a streak over Tennessee going. Obviously, he wants to win every football game. But in the back of his mind, he knows one loss Alabama gets in the playoffs. In the back of his mind, he probably thinks that 2-loss Alabama with an SEC title still probably gets in the playoffs. So I do think that there's an element to that. If you stumble to Tennessee when Tennessee's ranked 6th in the country on Rocky Top, you don't want to do that, but you still have a pretty healthy insurance policy because you can still tout that game. So I think there's part that could be, I wouldn't say maybe conscious, maybe even subconsciously. Maybe that's part of it, though, and plays into his decision.
Barrett Sallee, CBSSports.com, is with us. So Barrett began the segment saying he likes Tennessee to win. What gives you the most confidence on Tennessee's side? Tennessee does what, if you want to take it that direction, to beat Alabama on Saturday?
I think Tennessee gets a 300, 100-yard game from Hendon Hooker. I think the receivers, whether Tillman's 100% or back or not, they've still got great receivers. I think that Alabama will have to key in on Jabari Small early, and because of that, you see some holes open up for Hooker. You see that tempo come back to really hurt Alabama. Because, we can sit here and talk about how Alabama struggles against mobile quarterbacks. That's really not true anymore. But mobile quarterbacks with the speed in which Tennessee plays is absolutely a problem for Alabama. So, and everybody. That's why Josh runs it. So, if Hooker goes 300, 100, I think Tennessee's going to win and might win rather handily.
What defense do you think we're going to see on Saturday? The defense that showed up against Pittsburgh and LSU, or the defense that showed up against Florida and allow Anthony Richardson to pretty much have a field day?
Well, I'm going to dodge your question. Swain. I'm going to say
You're a
the
pro.
defense I think the defense that Tennessee has shown all year, and that's the second best run defense in the SEC. The second best in terms of basically every single stat, because they are going to load up on Jahmyr Gibbs, and whether it's Bryce Young or whether it's Jalen Milroe, they're going to focus. Alabama is going to have plenty of work in the running game just to protect their quarterbacks. So, the secondary is bad. I'd give Tennessee a mulligan for the LSU game just because the way that game, was played, it kind of lent itself to that. But I think if the Tennessee defense that shows up, every game this year shows up on Saturday, then it's going to be really hard for Alabama to run the football. And if they can't run the football, then, that puts a lot of onus on a young quarterback or a quarterback who's not 100%. And either way, that's tough.
By the way, I didn't know that was an option. You can just dodge questions. I'm going to start using that. We've been guests on shows, so that's a good move by Barrett Sallee. Hey, out the door, you mentioned what you expect out of Hendon, what he might be able to do statistically in a win against Alabama. So we brought up the Heisman conversation. Swain asked you about it last week. How do you think that would update the conversation for the Heisman Trophy with Hendon?
If he has a good game, it would be – I think he would be unquestionably the second best in the Heisman race. I still think C.J. Stroud's going to get a ton of looks, and as long as he just keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to win it. There might be some folks that put Hendon at the top of their list, but that I think I wouldn't say it's prisoner of the moment stuff because Hendon's been awesome all year. But I mean, C.J. Stroud is, unless he tanks, I think it's going to be a runaway for him. But Hendon would certainly be number 2 on that list, and probably number 2 on my list for sure.
Barrett Sallee, CBSSports.com. Quickly out the door, a lot of Tennessee fans focused on tomorrow who are also Braves fans tied with the Phillies. What should Braves fans who are also Tennessee fans think this weekend?
Well, we're going to get 12 strikeouts out of Strider today. Maybe, 2-3 hits. And then tomorrow with Charlie Morton. Look, I love Charlie Morton. He's a warrior. But the last month has been hard to watch that guy pitch. So I think Strider gets it done today, and the bats are going to have to come out tomorrow, which they might. We'll see. But I do think Strider gets it done.
Hey, one of my favorite things about baseball is the fans calling out the umpire. So, Barry, give us your "Come on, Blue." Where your eyeballs at, Blue? What's your best?
Come on, Blue.
There you go.
Come on, Blue. What you looking at, Blue?
Barrett Sallee has yelled that down the baseline too many times. Barrett Sallee, CBSSports.com. He says it. Tennessee's going to beat Alabama this weekend. Check him out online, CBS Sports HQ, and every Friday right here on Josh and Swain. Barrett, we appreciate it as always. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
That was good, man.
Barrett Sallee. That was a good "Come on, Blue." That was not his first delivery.
No, it wasn't at all, man. That was great. That was great.
You had a good punch out too on the video stream. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like when the umpires get all extra with it.
Yeah.
What if Teddy Valentine was an umpire?
Oh man.
Oh, and Pat Adams. Ooh, boys be moonwalking.
Yeah, you'd have the widest strike zone you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just ready to call people out.